What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 7 of the Dragon's Journey podcast, and I'm joined by my guest, Perran King, who owns a videography company. Perran, would you like to introduce yourself?
By all means. Thanks very much for having me on the show, Buckley. My name is Perran. I'm 21 years old, and I run a video and photo agency based in Ipswich, Suffolk.
Oh, nice. So how long would you say you've been doing that for?
So I've been running the company for 3 years, but I've been freelancing for around 5 years.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of time. I guess what made you think of going into videography then? Was it since you were a child, or because it seems like you've been doing it for a while?
Yeah. Yeah, I have been doing it kind of all my life, really. I started off, a friend and I used to make gaming videos, and I would edit them. So I kind of got the understanding of editing from that side of things, probably from the age of about 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old. And then I went on holiday to Australia, and I took a camera with me and I kind of vlogged it. Kind of Casey Neistat style. I don't know if you know his videos, but I was really heavily into him when I was younger, and so I took a lot of inspiration from that in making the sort of holiday vlog kind of thing, and then I continued that with every holiday I went on, and yeah, it was always just sort of a hobby, really. I never saw an opportunity until much later on to actually pursue it as a career. And then I'd say probably that first instance where I saw it being viable was at high school. I did my work experience with a local film production company, and they'd done loads and loads of work with all different industries. I think at the time they'd just finished a project with the London 2012 Olympics. So that was really interesting to see that a passion can be turned into a way of making money like that.
Yeah, 100%. Being a creative as well, it's one of the things that once you see that you can make the amount of money that you can make from it, it's just it flips the switch essentially, because you always kind of feel you always hear starving artists and all that kind of terminology when you're at university and college, I'm guessing. So it's nice that you got to actually upfront that you can make money from it as well. I was going to say, take me back to the trip to Australia, because that seems really fun, and were you recording when you're surfing as well? How did that go?
Yeah, so where did I start? I think I started the video in the airport, and it was just kind of a time lapse of the runway and all the planes kind of moving around and everybody sort of walking around. Then yeah, it was just kind of the shots of getting or going through the airport, going through the X-ray machine, and then picking it up on the other side, walking through, jumping on the plane. There's a little bit of stuff on the plane, but I either slept or watched film through most of it, because it was a 26-hour flight. So yeah, I was very much just in a zone of trying to relax. And then yeah, actually getting sort of to Australia, we went on a few really nice walks. So I was staying in a place called Cairns, which is in Queensland, in the north of Australia, and there's a place called White Rock Lookout. So we climbed up this mountain and got to the top, and there was a white rock with just a beautiful picturesque view of the entire city and the sort of surrounding mountains, and then you've got the beach right down at the very front. So yeah, there was a bit of a sort of journey going up there, and then there was a sign pointing one way. It turns out you were actually meant to go the other way, so someone had obviously put a sign up, and then that was a bit of fun. So I thought I'd include that in the video. I also we went snorkeling and that kind of thing, and I tried to do some underwater filming, and I now have the utmost respect for anybody who does documentaries with David Attenborough, who's under the water filming with a really heavy camera. I mean, I was using a tiny little thing. and I don't even know what I was trying to film. I was just sort of no. It was just like, almost like the disposable cameras. It was kind of like one of those, but for underwater, and you could do video and photos on it as well.
That's amazing. Like, because I'm just thinking if you were to film like KC9 stuff it seems like Australia's the best place to do that kind of filming, because you've got surfing, you've got all the wildlife as well.
Absolutely, yeah. The wildlife out there is on another level.
Yeah, literally. I was gonna say, have you ever thought of doing videography for like tourism, or what's the categories you'd like to specialize in?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when I first set up my company, there was kind of three industries that I was really looking to work with, and that was hospitality, so restaurants, bars, like cocktail bars, that kind of thing. Anything in the music industry, so doing like music festivals, live events, music videos. And then the last one was for sort of leisure. So yeah, that was kind of like more of the sort of like holiday places doing, I don't know, say like kayaking or surf schools, or like stand-up paddleboarding. That's really kind of blown up recently. So yeah, I always like to try my hand at something before I then do a video about it or work in that industry, just so I have a bit more of an understanding. Yeah, they were kind of my main three starting off. But more recently, I've kind of diverted a little bit. I still do work with the sort of hospitality and music industries, but I've gone more into doing work in property and a little bit of work with cars as well.
Oh wow! So like any particular car brands that you'd be saying, oh, this is my dream car brand to do videography for?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's got to be my dream car, which is the Nissan GTR 35. But any of the Nissan GTR series are just elite cars.
Yeah, literally. Honestly, those cars are amazing. It just takes me back to like when I was younger, like just playing Need for Speed all the time.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. I was actually fortunate enough. I was at a car meet up in Norwich, and they had like a real massive range of cars there. I mean, there was sort of your kind of lower end cars that people had just spent loads of money modding it and putting loud exhausts and doing all sorts. And then I did a video of a guy. He had a gold BMW M4. And I think it was like one of only a couple hundred that were made. It was like, it looked really, really slick. And then just probably about 10 minutes before I was about to leave, I saw, it was a Nissan GTR Nismo. And I was just, my mind was blown. Like, I've never seen a car like that in my entire life. And I really wish I'd got the guy's Instagram or his number or something, so I could like, could I do some more videos of your car? Because I got about 3 seconds of footage just before he drove off. But yeah, that was pretty incredible.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Like, to be honest, I'm jealous that you're in that space because it's such a good, like, if you can move to doing it consistently, just constantly being around those cars, it genuinely just be amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was gonna say, like, how do you go about acquiring clients then? Because I know with a lot of creatives, we sometimes undercharge for our services, and I think it's important to understand the value that you could provide to the client to understand why you should actually be charging slightly more. So I was just wondering how you go about it.
That's a really good question. It does vary. Initially, it was asking family and friends, do you know anybody with a business in any of these three industries that I could come and do some free video work for, just to start building my portfolio? And then I did do a bit of cold calling, not exactly cold calling on the phone, but as in I'd actually go into a business. Like I would have done my due diligence and sort of researched them a bit beforehand, made sure it was a brand that I, could see myself working with. We had similar sort of views. And then I'll go in person, say it's like a cafe or a restaurant or a bar or something like that. I'll go and have a drink there, see if I can get a chat with the manager, just have a chat about their business and then explain what I do and see if there was any capacity for us to work together. And sometimes you get a not right now, and that doesn't mean no, but nurture that relationship, and 3 months, 6 months down the line, it could turn into something. So that's probably been quite a big thing. And then very recently, I've been going to networking groups, and that has definitely elevated my business and allowed me to get those higher paying clients. Because those businesses understand what they need to do in order to market themselves, and they're not afraid to kind of put an investment into video, because at the end of the day, you're only going to see a return on it. It's not going to be a one and done nosedive sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly, because they're doing it because they see, if we get a professional to do it, it'll help us position our brand in a better light to then attract more customers, which will then bring in more money. So they're looking at it at the back end, whereas I feel like when you're going on sites like Fiverr sometimes, usually people are just chasing a lower price.
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely done a bit of research on Fiverr, sort of looked for people that I could potentially hire to outsource doing little bits for me, but I don't think I've ever actually gone through with it, just because it doesn't seem like I'd rather pay for a quality product at the end of the day. I'd rather pay that slightly higher price point and know that I'm going to get something really, really good. But I did actually list my sort of video editing services on there quite a while ago. I never actually got anything through because I didn't put any examples of my work up, and that was an idea that never really came to fruition. But I think I've definitely found that I love the actual going out, meeting people and filming side of things a little bit more than the editing.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, with the whole meeting aspect and meeting people and networking, how did you get over the hump of going to the first one? Were you just naturally confident in the first one, or did it take some time to build up the confidence to talk to new people?
Yeah, it certainly built up some time. I mean, in all of the networking groups that I've been to, I am the youngest person. So that was kind of the biggest hurdle for me to kind of realize and get over, was actually a lot of these people have been in business for 20 odd years. And there I was. I think the first one I went to, I must have been maybe 17 or 18. So that was kind of a just stepping into something new. And I knew that the first two or three that I'd go to, I wouldn't know what was going on. I wouldn't know what I was doing, what I was meant to talk about. But the main thing for me was actually just taking that step and doing it. And I mean, I'd also really, really highly recommend trying different networking groups, because there's different styles. Like the first few that I went to were run by a group of creatives, and as you can imagine, there wasn't very much structure, and that kind of led to I personally didn't find that I could get very much out of it, because I'd end up talking to one person for an entire hour and then going, we're not really the right fit, rather than getting to speak to a few different people for maybe 5 minutes and then going, actually, I really want to come back and have a conversation with you. Perhaps some of that was my being naive and not really realizing that I can say, it's been nice chatting to you, but I want to go and chat to some other people. But yeah, certainly just trying different groups out and finding one with a group of people that you like, and that you find that you can get something from, as well as give something back. And yeah, I think the more structured ones suit me better, just because I know what to expect each week, and There's also an opportunity for you to pitch. You give like a 60-second pitch about your business and what your ideal client is that you're looking for, and then everybody writes it down and they try and, you know, source you that client. So that's probably been, that's been the biggest thing for me. It's worked really, really well.
Oh wow, that's actually amazing, because then you just helping each other. Everyone in the room's there to help each other to get business. I need to find me some networking events like this, to be honest. But honestly, networking is definitely a skill that you need, because I did the exact same thing when I first went into the first property event. Man, I think I was about 21-ish, and just went in. Everyone is like 50 plus at this event. They're all in suits, all like looking proper professional, and I'm just the creative there, just like, I just want to learn about property. And it's a lot of the time management aspect. You know that, like, okay, you've only got, because the first one I did the exact same thing. I went, talked to 1 or 2 people, and then before I knew it, the event was over. Whereas now I talk to people, find out what they're doing, what they're looking for, and then I try moving around the room and like also introducing them to other people that I've seen at the event before. So then if they want to follow up afterwards, we can, but it just enables me to talk to more people when I'm networking.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm glad you've learned the lesson as well.
Yeah. Literally. So I was gonna say, what would you say is one thing all companies need to bear in mind when they're working with someone that does videography and pictures?
Oh, that is a really good question. There's kind of so many to choose from. I think probably one of the main things, and this is something that I get at like events as well. So this kind of is an across the board message, which is, if you've booked somebody to do videos, they're going to do videos. Don't stop them halfway through and be like, oh, by the way, can you just take a few photos? That is probably the biggest pet peeve of everybody who does videos and photos. Like, if you want photos as well, ask for it, and you get the 2 services, and you might even have somebody dedicated to doing photography. But it might not seem like much to switch from photography to filming, but it breaks up the workflow. So you usually, you know, for like a promo video or for an event, you go in with a vision in mind of what you want the end product to look like. And then you're then in the process of constructing that when you're filming. But then if somebody stops you halfway through and you're kind of in your, you know, that kind of flow state, and then goes, oh, by the way, can you just take a few photos? You kind of like step out of it. You're like, oh yeah, sure. You know, take a few photos, and then you go back to filming. You're like, right, where was I? What was I doing? What part of the story am I up to? What's the next bit? So that's probably, that's quite a big one. Well, it's a big one for us, but it's a sort of, you know, a small ask, I think.
No, 100%, it makes total sense, because if you're there and you're just in a state, like you said, and you're in a flow, and then someone just like, oh yeah, just do this as well, and it just completely sidetracks you. And I think they don't realize it'll impact the actual quality of work that you wanted to do, that they hired you for, essentially. So that's a good shout, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
What would your number one tip be to people that are trying to get into like videography in a way that can sustainably pay their bills as well?
So are you asking almost like taking that step from it being like a side hustle alongside your 9 to 5 to then making it a full-time gig?
Yeah.
Biggest tip I can give is just do it. Just commit to it and do it. I know that sounds it's kind of like, what is he saying here? But that was the advice that I got given. And I was kind of like, well, what do you mean just do it? Surely there's more to it than that. And there really wasn't. You just got to go, right, I'm all in with this and trust that the clients will come. And the way it got described to me was take the leap and the net will appear. And if you don't take that leap, the net won't appear, and it will seem like a really high way, like really high up, and you don't want to jump. But yeah, it's just about taking that step, and it's a big commitment. I think I'd almost say you're at more of an advantage if you live in a bigger sort of like city or quite a large town or something like that, because there's more likely to be the clients out there. Sort of in terms of, yeah, like there will be more competition, but there will be more clients. So I think it kind of works out. Yeah, that's probably my big bit of advice.
Yeah, that's a fair shout as well. And the thing about competition as well, that I feel a lot of people feel like, oh, competition's taken from me. But if it's competitive in an area, it means there's clients in the area.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm sort of building on that. I think another great thing about competition is it pushes you to do better. Because if you're at the top of your game, why would you try and make something better? You almost get a bit complacent. You're just going to be like, yeah, well, I can do this. I'm the best at it. But if there's always somebody better than you, that you can be like, right, well, what are they doing? All right, well, then you kind of think, how can I get my product or my service to that level? And sometimes it's not always about the end product. Sometimes it is about the service side of things, because ultimately, a lot of the work that I do is building that client experience. And that's what I've really focused my business on, is making sure that my clients have the best experience possible. Because then I think they're more likely to come back if they've enjoyed themselves, that they've been left feeling good and happy, whereas if they get a really great video, but they were made to feel like they were useless, or that they were rubbish, or that they didn't matter, they weren't important, they're probably not going to come back. And ultimately, for it to be sustainable, you kind of want some repeat clients. It's always good to have new ones, but building and maintaining relationships with current clients is vital.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's all about, one, doing a good job for the clients that you get, and then also trying to see if you can get referrals as well. I feel that would be a great way, because referrals are really free, essentially. You don't have to do any marketing.
Referrals are free, and they are, no, by far, and it's the best form of marketing. Like, someone's much more likely to come and contact you if they've heard about, oh my God, I had the best time on the video shoot. It was a really good laugh. We had, it was a day's shoot, but we got the end product. We're so over the moon with it. We're definitely going to come back. People are going to be like, well, I feel like I'm missing out if I don't go and, use this guy. And so, yeah, I definitely agree with you.
No, 100%. And I was also going to say, like, let's say someone's starting out, and I know you said, like, just go out and do it. That's the best way to do it. But, like, as in for actionable steps, what would you say someone needs on their portfolio before they can potentially get that first client?
I think a little bit of a variety of the work that you can do, especially, I mean, this is prevalent more so now than ever, is like Instagram content and TikTok and things like that. I mean, that's kind of a portfolio in itself. If you can show someone that you can produce like creative ideas, like literally just on your phone, like you don't have to have the most expensive camera. But if you can show that you can make short content that's engaging, that's a really good kind of starting point, I think, to go to businesses and say, hey, would you like to have more engagement, more interactions and stuff on your Instagram? That could be sort of one thing. And then maybe for more like the promo kind of side of things, you could do, I guess, filming any sort of like process or something like that. Like even, I mean, I think I started off, one of the first things I filmed was making a cup of coffee. like with my coffee machine. But just thinking about it creatively, filming it from lots of different angles, rather than it just being like a static shot of you making a cup of coffee, which I think after a few seconds someone would switch off. But just really finding anything around the house that you can do to kind of build that portfolio up, whether it's making food. And that was another really, really big one for me. Was I used to make loads of different dishes. It was like a different dish for lunch, different dish for dinner every single day. And I just filmed it, put it on my Snapchat. Like sometimes I was like standing my phone up on like a tin of beans to get an overhead shot of the pan, like just whatever I could come up with. And that really helped me to kind of, I guess, it helped me to practice. And it was like proof of my passion for it, and you know, it created a good buzz in college, and people were always sort of coming up and being like, oh, what's on the menu tonight, that kind of thing. So I think just having a little bit of variety, finding something that you're passionate about, and just make as many videos as you can. That's probably the best advice.
Yeah, just following Gary V's model of content.
Yeah, that's it.
Literally. I was going to say, so do you also intend on vlogging as well? And like creating a YouTube channel showing your process? Because I think that's something I'm planning on implementing. Because like I said, I had a call with you before and I was saying how I'm also thinking of launching like a 3D animation company, because I already know how to do 3D. And I'd love to do the animation side, but for like ArcViz or like property developers, so they can sell the properties before they go out, kind of thing. And I was wondering, have you thought about doing vlogs on your YouTube as well to just help you grow the brand, and then you'll become the next Casey Neistat, hopefully?
Yeah, it's definitely something I considered. In fact, I nearly started doing one today. I haven't vlogged or done anything like that. I occasionally like put bits up on my story, like Instagram stories and that kind of thing. I guess that's my version of vlogging. But yeah, I actually nearly did one today, because as you can see, the caravan behind me, we're completely stripping it out and turning it into like a mobile studio. So we can just hitch it up to a car and go and drive somewhere, potentially do podcasts in there, or potentially do bits of filming, whatever we kind of fancy. So yeah, it's definitely something I've considered. And when I remember to, I try and document as much of my process as possible. But at the moment, I think I don't have the capacity for it. I spend so much of my day doing work for other people that I then get to the end of the day, I'm like, I don't know when I could have fitted in filming me talking about the process and doing that kind of thing, and then editing that, unless, I guess the only option is if I was to film it and then send it off to somebody to be edited, or hire somebody sort of in-house to edit things. But yeah, it's definitely something I'll consider in the future.
Yeah, because I was gonna say a way I was thinking of doing it, because I had the same thing. Like I would be thinking of, oh yeah, let me vlog today, and then I get to the end of the day, and then I'm like, oh snap, I just didn't vlog anyway. But the way I'm thinking of moving forward with it is like doing a daily kind of reel thing. So it'd be like, okay, from this time I did this. I'm just doing literally a 3-second thing of saying what I've done or what I'm about to do, and then get a bunch of 3-second clips, and then just posting it at the end of that day, like at 9 p.m. or something, or 8 p.m. So then it's just consistent, so people can see it. It doesn't take much editing, because I just select all the videos and then post. Maybe that could be a good way, but obviously I know
that's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, do I want the production value to be the same as what I do for like my clients, which would be cool, but it would take a lot more time. So I definitely think having that more kind of raw, like you were saying, that sort of filming 3 seconds at, I don't know, say like every every hour throughout your day, filming 3 seconds of, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm about to do. Then the next stage, right, I finished this, we're onto this bit now. I really like that. And I might well start doing that as like a daily kind of record of what I've been doing.
Yeah, it might be good, because then it's not so much about quality, it's just you consistently showing up. And then when you're consistently showing up, more people have a chance of coming across your content, especially if it's like YouTube Shorts and TikTok. By the way, I keep saying this, I need to do it myself, so I'm saying this to hold myself accountable.
That's it. Well, maybe we could start a 30-day challenge together where we hold each other accountable for it. So we've got to post every day for 30 days, like a daily process of what we're doing each day.
Oh yeah. Oh, honestly, you know what? I'll be down for that. I'll 100% be down for that. And anyone watching this episode, if you see us posting more, you know why.
Or if you don't see us posting, message us. Say, what are you doing?
Literally. But I mean, is there anything else you'd like to let people know, for anyone that's looking for videography content, how they can contact you, how they can get in touch?
Yeah, by all means. So you can contact my email, which is hello@peakingmedia.com. That's PKING media.com. My Instagram is peaking_media. And I believe my YouTube channel is also just Peaking Media. So I do upload my more kind of creative projects on there. I've done a couple of documentary pieces which are up there. So yeah, just keep your eyes peeled. Do feel free to get in touch if you've got any questions. Shoot me a DM, voice note, video, give me a call, email me, anything. I'm always happy to answer any questions.
That's amazing. And honestly, guys, I'd definitely hit him up because he's doing a lot. And clearly, he even said it himself, he's too busy to do his own videos, so he's really busy. So you better be willing to pay enough to get him. But yeah, I'd love to have you on again. But you know what? I say we do it, a 30-day challenge to do those pieces of content. I'm gonna start. So what's today's date?
It's the 1st today.
1st of May. That's perfect. Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, it kind of is, and I'm kind of like, yeah. I mean, I do have a holiday in the middle of the month, so I mean, I can still do bits of what I'm doing on holiday. It counts. There we go. All right, well, let's do it then. The next 30 days. Yeah, absolutely.
And to be honest,
absolutely.
Even people would love the fact that you're on holiday, because they'll be like, "Oh, that's cool." You know what I mean? You're not just a workaholic; you're a human being.
Oh, I am a workaholic, mate. This is like the first holiday I've had in too long. But yeah, I do try and stay a little bit human.
Yeah. Now, honestly, it's been a pleasure having you on, and I'd love to have you on again, and then we could talk about how this 30-day challenge went for both of us.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you ever so much for having me on.
No problem whatsoever. And again, guys, thanks for listening to the episode. And if you want all the links, I'll attach all the links to his social media, his website, and email in the comment section below. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and show some support. We're still a small channel, but we're hoping to grow so we can get more and more consistent with the content and more guests for you. But thanks again for listening, and take care, guys.